Hey, Google friends, it's me, Adrian, or Ayden. Either way, I am still your host. You are still listening to Susto, the podcast of ooky, spooky, scary stories. You all, I missed a week. I totally missed a week. And it wasn't even that I forgot or that I just didn't care. Because believe me, I care. Like Beyonce, that I missed this week. I felt so horrible. But I'm going to keep it really, really real. 100% with you all. I had a really hard past couple of weeks, to be very honest. Work was really stressful. And on top of that, I'm still going to school outside of working full time and then trying to do this and trying to be a good boyfriend and a good family member person. So it was just a lot to keep up with. And, I am going to have to be super honest with you. My homework is going to have to take priority, because that is coming out of my pocket. So of course I had to put homework over doing the episode for last week or 2 weeks ago, I think it was, but I'm all caught up now. I'm ahead of the game now. So I just needed that little break in time. And it was so bad to the point that I couldn't even take the time to give you all a quick Instagram post hey, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still doing this, but I'm here. And I'm back, and I don't plan on letting that happen again. I don't know. Well, I do know what I need to do different, but so I guess we'll leave it at that. Is that I'm making a promise to you, because we're a team, y'all. Even though I do all this by myself, we're a team. So anyway, like I said, it was just really hard, and I missed that week, but I'm here, yeah, and I'm really excited to be back. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Missed you so much. Hope you're just as excited as you were 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. And if this is your first time, welcome. Like I said, it is the podcast of ooky, spooky, scary stories. And you know what? Halloween is so close. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I love Halloween. It's one of my top. It's my favorite It's my favorite holiday. That's it. I stan Halloween. There. Anyway, so I also want to take a really quick moment to just address something else. I'm sure that a lot of you come here, a lot of you, as if there's so many of you, but I'm sure that you all have your podcasts that you listen to for this kind of commentary, and that this may not be one of them, and that you come here just to kind of detach yourself from these things. But I mean, there's no easy way to talk about this, but the shootings that happened over the weekend, I think it's really important that we do talk about those things even when we're tired and we're frustrated and we're hurt. And I'm sorry to bring that up if you came here to not think about that. And believe me, I understand, because I have those moments where I don't want to even hear about that anymore. So if you want, feel free to skip ahead a few seconds until it sounds like I'm done talking about this. But I need to talk about it because this is one of the few platforms that I have now, and I want to use it to advocate for things that I really believe in and for things that are really important. And it's obviously a tragedy, and it's really scary what happened, especially with the manifesto of the shooter in El Paso coming out and the language that was used about and against the Latinx community. I'm not even sure what I want to say other than this is something that we need to be thinking about. We need to talk to our representatives, whether that's calling them, if you have the opportunity to go and visit representatives, doing that, harassing them on the internet, because sometimes that is the only place that they'll listen, and voting. And I'm not gonna tell you all what you should do, but anyway, I just something needs to be done. And there's all these excuses going around about it's a mental health issue, which I don't believe, because there are lots of people that have mental health issues that don't do this thing. And I think that really villainizes people that do have mental health issues, and it makes them seem like they're bad people and they're inherently capable of doing something like that, which they're not, and just because they have a mental illness. And there's these other excuses about gay people and gay marriage and drag queens causing this, which of course they always want to blame the quote unquote deviant group, and it's somehow my fault for being gay that people are being shot and killed, when it's very obviously the truth is just it's out there and it's very obvious, and I feel like if you knew, and we just knew why these things were happening, but now this person left behind a manifesto which is like so gross and it's such bullshit, and like I wish that we didn't give this person that platform and that we didn't like make their name a thing. But also it's kind of like, look, it's finally right in front of our eyes that someone is saying plainly, like they're standing up in their racism and they're standing up in their hate and saying, this is why I did this. And I think that is one of the small differences between this instance and incidences that have happened in the past, where maybe like there was no, I guess, quote unquote proof, or I guess proof of a motive before is, I guess, the words that I would use to describe that. But I just want to say that if there's anyone in El Paso or in Ohio or anyone that's ever gone through anything like this before, I'm really sorry and my heart is with you. And if you follow the Instagram at Susto Podcast, I'll leave a link in there for ways that we can help people in El Paso and anywhere else that have suffered from gun violence, but especially ways that we can help right now. I know that giving blood is a big thing. I know that donating money for this type of disaster relief is also a thing, but I have seen some links floating around, so I will make sure to leave one in the Instagram post for this week's episode. I know that I always say I'm going to put a link or something up and I always forget, but this time I'm definitely going to do it. And yeah, I just wanted to address that really quick because it's been weighing really heavy on me, and I'm all the way over here, but also like it would have been very easy for this guy. He drove from Dallas, he could have easily driven to the RGV to do something like this. And even then, we don't need to import white terrorists from the middle of Texas or anywhere else to do this. There are white supremacists in the RGV. They're very much here. And I think that we all just need to make an active vocal stand against white supremacy and racism and hatred. And that's one of the only ways that we are going to be able to beat those attitudes and those beliefs, is by naming them what they are, calling them what they are, not being afraid to name them and call them and talk about them and challenge them. And by challenge, I mean, obviously in a safe way, because, obviously we're under attack. Yeah. And I know that I've kind of kept away from talking about these sorts of things on this podcast, but I very much do think like that. And if you think the opposite or you don't agree with me, I'm really sorry, but it's my podcast and I'm going to say what I feel because it's important and it's the truth. This time, at least. I'm not saying that I'm always right, but I usually am. Just kidding. But yeah, so it's been a rough couple weeks, y'all. Mercury was in retrograde. It finally ended on August 1st, but we still have like the Mercury retrograde shadow that we still have to get out of. And then like Jupiter or Uranus is about to go into retrograde soon. It's just, there are too many retrogrades going on for me. I am going to lose my hair because of all of these planets shifting and moving and whatnot. But anyway, this week, I actually had another story in mind, but I think I'm going to save it for later. It's a little bit of like a touchier story. Like it involves true crime. And so does the one that I decided to do, but it still involves like the paranormal, supernatural kind of aspects. So I wanted to share it either way. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and let you all know that today's episode is going to be about the Armageddon time arc base and the outer dimensional forces. Outer Dimensional Forces, or ODF, also known as Armageddon Time Arc Base Operation, or ATA Base Operation, is a UFO-believing religious group. They anticipate an impending apocalypse based in Weslaco, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. The group was founded on September 3rd, 1996 by Orville Thomas Gordon, aka No Drug, which is just Gordon spelled backwards. A sign posted on the gate of the property states, ATA Base, Manasseh Free Territory, Manasseh Complex, Area 6, Armageddon Valley. Warning, .2 contamination 100 feet radius from house. Do not cross fence line. Honk horn 3 times. According to ODF's website, outer dimensional forces are forces under the direct command of our true positive savior, Yahshua HaMashiach, who is under the direct command of our Father Creator, the Great Yahweh. The group claims that having returned in 1966, the outer dimensional forces found that humans had destroyed the pristine Earth. They believed that great advances were possible for humans by means of a universal time bank of energy, but that the wicked governments of man had ruined this potential. For this reason, they believed that the purification or cleansing of the earth in order to facilitate future, responsible habitation was inevitable and necessary. O.T. Nodrog, a longtime resident of Weslaco, was known around town as a colorful but harmless eccentric. Often, he was spotted driving through city streets in a vintage Chrysler with a convertible top down, his long silver beard flying in the wind. Or you could find him at the Weslaco Pulga, or flea market, selling avocado plants, wheat berries, and honey from his compound, and soliciting, quote, real human beings, positive pioneers who are capable of facing the reality of the time frontier and redeveloping and repopulating the monastic complex, which is what they would call the North American continent. According to Nodrog, only those who had undergone the group's survival training would be rescued from the cataclysm by ascending in the command starship Time Arc Service modules, which, as Nodrog put it, had already begun to functionate interdimensional power exchange and was responsible for Hurricane Beulah in 1967. Residents whispered about his offers to teach people how to fly spaceships and his insistence in local letters to the editor that his real last name was Gordon spelled backwards. It's very difficult to find any personal information on Nodrog. 2 separate articles by the Brownsville Herald state several Weslaco residents said Gordon has either become a recluse or died. No outsider can confirm rumors he is buried on the property. Former associates were unsure whether Nodrog, who could be 88 by now, is still alive. No death certificate is recorded for Nodrog in the Hidalgo County Vital Statistics Department. Those articles were written in 1997 and 1996, which would make O.T. Nodrog 111 years old if he was alive today. The group's secluded existence was broken suddenly in 1985 when Walmart began offering to buy the group's land. Their apprehension grew when then-Mayor Hector Farias called for a cleanup of the compound to attract development interests. Possibly as retaliation to this was the pipe bomb incident of 1986 in McAllen, Texas. Mark Allen Lingenfelter was convicted in the U.S. District Court on indictments accusing him of carrying a weapon with a silencer and of conspiring to damage a paint store in McAllen with a pipe bomb in a car parked nearby. Lingenfelter was first found incompetent to stand trial, then acted as his own attorney. U.S. District Judge Ricardo Hinojosa dismissed himself from the case after he said he received threatening letters from Lingenfelter. Lingenfelter was also found in contempt of court for several outbursts. Assistant U.S. Attorney Robert Berg said Lingenfelter manufactured a pipe bomb and exploded it in a car parked near the store managed by Hector Farias, then mayor of Weslaco. No one was hurt in the explosion. Berg said Lingenfelter's group, Outer Dimensional Forces, believed Farias was trying to take property away from them in order to develop land near their 2-acre site in Weslaco. A threatening letter from the organization to the Weslaco City Hall was sent the same day that the car exploded. Another member of the group, Daniel Paul Hoverson, was also charged in the pipe bombing. A government witness, Jimmy Dillingham, testified that Lingenfelter talked about making the bomb and threatened to kill a federal judge and blow up the federal building in Brownsville. After serving a 10-year term, Lingenfelter failed to report to the probation office after his release in 1993. Federal officials now consider him a fugitive from the law. He disappeared without a trace, said then U.S. Marshal Gene Diaz, who led a search for Lingenfelter. This has taken us to several other states and back, but we still haven't found anything. 6 months later, on July 16, a team comprised of federal agents, city police, and health officials raided the house. They were armed with a search warrant and a building inspection notice. The group members were very upset, said Hernan Acosta, a former city buildings inspector present at the raid. During the raid, federal officials and agents dug up the surrounding yard, searching for any sign of explosive material. It was never found. Instead of explosives, agents seized film, guns, and Nodrog's antique truck. Authorities also found a list of 4,000 people interested in buying a $5 packet of the group's propaganda. After the raid, prank calls jammed the phone lines at City Hall. For about 2 weeks, city officials stopped answering their phones. The Hoversons denied their group ever harassed the city. Instead, they say, the group had felt unfairly persecuted at the time by local and federal officials. Today, in 2019, the compound still stands, fenced in and shielded by trees and bushes. The most recent members to give an interview were Daniel Hoverson, now 67, and Lynn Hoverson, now 66. During the last documented sighting of the couple, They spoke fervently at the gate of the compound about their religious beliefs. Suddenly, in the middle of the conversation, they nervously shut their chain link gate and retreated into the house. They promised to consider a more extensive interview with the Brownsville Herald, but later declined. Federal officials say they now know next to nothing about the group, except that the Hoversons have at least one child. The vast house, valued at more than $98,000 according to tax rolls in 1996, sports tasteful cedar siding and a trim lawn. Several spotless cars are often parked behind the chain link fence. But, like Lingenfelter's whereabouts, the mystery of the house's inhabitants lingers. Okay, so that was different. I wanted to do that because, there's more than just like ghosts and ghouls and demons to like be scared of. I'm not saying to be scared of, but that people are scared of. And I think people are very frightened by the idea of, well, either way, people can be frightened of the idea that we are completely alone in this universe. It's just us on this earth. And I think people can also be frightened by the idea that we're not alone and that there are other life forms out there and we don't know what their agenda is, if they have one, if they're just minding their business. Honestly, if I was an extraterrestrial and I like driving by Earth, it'd be one of those like grab my purse and lock the doors and roll up the windows as I'm flying by Earth, because no thank you, it's a mess. Anyway, like I said, I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I've always been into, all of this spooky shit. I've been into it. I love it. I live for it. And so I was like, okay, let me go this direction now. And I just rewatched Signs with my friends like a week or so ago. And so of course there's that one iconic scene where it's those little kids' birthday party and the alien walks by and people are all freaked out. So I've been thinking about aliens again since then. But yeah, there's not a lot of, I feel like I didn't want to do a lot of extra research into like UFOs in general, just because there's so much content out there about it. Like there's such a saturation of UFOs and it's so easy to find. And I feel like the research that I've done for past episodes, it's because those are a little bit more like niche things, and UFOs and extraterrestrials are like really, really popular. It's a common subject amongst people that are into this kind of thing. So like I didn't do too much digging, but I was able to find these two stories. Yeah, I kept it very local. This story about the outer dimensional forces is, again, I know a story that a lot of us heard growing up, but not really like in the general, like the other stories that a lot of you have heard if you were part of the Latinx community, but you're not from here. Like this story is very specific to the Rio Grande Valley, and people drive by this house all the time. Because like I said in the story, Walmart tried to buy out that plot of land, and it's like a huge piece of land. It's like 2 acres, and they obviously didn't succeed in buying them out. So they actually just built the Walmart next to that plot of land. And there's like a bunch of businesses around it. There's like Walmart, there's a bunch of restaurants, there's a little shopping plaza, and literally like right next to this house also is the expressway. So like there's tons of traffic going by it. And growing up, I always heard the stories about those people and about like what they were about, but I never really like got into the specifics of it until recently. And yeah, just growing up, I would always hear that they were just these people that believed that aliens were going to come and like scoop them up when the world was ending, essentially is what I heard. I didn't realize that they were also kind of like a cult, and that they had like a religious aspect to them until I started doing this story. One of the links that I used to do this research was actually a link to their website, which is still up. And I'm not sure how websites work, but I'm pretty sure like someone has to like maintain it to keep it going. So like their website, it's up and running. It's completely functional. There's even like a mailing address to contact them, I guess, if you want to like, I don't know, like join them or like, I'm not sure. But really quick, the websites that I used before I share these next 2 local stories that I found are apnews.com, roswellbooks.com, BrownsvilleHerald.com. atabase.info is their website. And there was a Google book that I used that was called Mavericks, a gallery of Texas characters. And the last one here that I used was just newspapers.com. So onto these local stories. I just wanted to find some stories about like UFO sightings. And like I said, there's a lot of stories about this out there. So I wanted to find something that was a little bit more close to home for me, at least. So this one is from LMT Online. It says a South Texas man is claiming that video footage he captured Wednesday night shows several UFOs an hour north of Laredo. Gary Trevino of Eagle Pass posted the video on Facebook after spotting mysterious lights in the sky around 8:45 p.m. And now he's asking for social media's help on identifying them. This was posted in January of 2018. It quotes him as saying, "Can someone explain what the hell did we just see here at the Gates Ranch in Catarina, Texas?" Trevino posted on his Facebook. Trevino told LMTonline.com that he was working in the oil field in Catarina at the time the lights appeared. He immediately pulled out his phone and started filming the alleged UFOs. The video, which has more than 140,000 views, shows lights appearing in the sky at different times, moving erratically and then disappearing. Whether you want to believe or not, another UFO video is here for you to decide for yourself. So the video is actually not here on this website, which I wish it was. I don't know, maybe it was and it got taken down. I tried going through this guy's Facebook, but it just felt weird and I didn't want to like creep on his entire profile. So anyway, that's one of them. Another one is from TexasUFOsightings.com. And this one, it says bright blue streak seen over McAllen, Texas. So that one's closer to home. And this apparently happened on February 19th, 2019. Oh my God, that was this year. It happened February 19th of 2019. Okay, this one says a really amazing sighting of a long bright blue streak over McAllen, Texas, which appeared as quickly as it disappeared, has been submitted to MUFON. Although the witness didn't take a photo of the event, they did create a digital drawing of it, which they shared along with their testimony. And it's over in HEB. I love HEB. Anyway, it says, this is their testimony. It says, it was dark, cloudy, and misty around 7 p.m. I was at the HEB parking lot, walking back to my vehicle after placing a shopping cart back into the stall. Thank you, first, really quick. Thank you for doing that, because not everyone does that. And me and my boyfriend, we do that every single time, everywhere we go. If we have a shopping cart, we put it in the shopping cart because it is rude. It's so rude. Like, I know you could probably be a jerk about it and be like, oh, well, that's what people work there for. But it's like, well, yeah, but I would assume that their job is to go to the cart corral, pick them all up and take it back inside, not leave it in the middle of a okay. Chill out, Adrian. Aliens. Anyway, so it says placing a shopping cart back into the stall, and I saw a long blue streak fly across the clouds so fast it was gone within a second. I was facing south towards HEB, and the blue light streak was only visible for 1 second, which spanned a quarter of a mile across the sky going west to east. The website continues, is it possible that this witness saw a meteor? Which is what I'm inclined to believe. That's what it sounds like to me. And if so, it would be one of 2 large meteors seen in Texas this month, which we were just like, we had like a near miss with like a meteor recently. And I think it was in February. So it might have been that. It could have been that. I don't know that it was visible, but I know it was that one that came like really close to us and it missed. So it could have been that. Or could this witness have seen something else, like a spaceship zipping through the sky or crashing? And that's again from this Texas UFOsightings.com. I tried looking for more that happened in or really close to the RGV, but I really couldn't find too many. Also, I made the mistake of typing aliens in the RGV, which I'm sure you can guess how that went. Fucking racist ass Fox News. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have the time and the energy, I would suggest checking out Outer Dimensional Force's website just to see. It's a lot. It's really hard to follow. They have kind of like this like key or ledger on the left side that shows the definition for the words that they're using, which I don't know why they just didn't use. I don't know. Anyway, it's confusing. It's interesting. It's strange. And that's why I like it, because it doesn't make sense to me all the way. So yeah, I really hope that you liked it. Let me know if this was like a good move or not. Like, should I not have done this story? Because again, like I said, this is kind of going like a little bit into left field as compared to the stories that I've done in the past. But I thought it was really interesting. You know, it's still paranormal. It's still spooky for a lot of people. Like, we don't know. Who knows? They might be right. And for some reason, Weslaco was chosen as the place where aliens are going to land on Earth here in the valley. So we'll see. Who knows? So thanks so much again, y'all. I know that I've been gone for a few weeks, but like I said, it was a pretty difficult few weeks, but I feel like I'm back on the horse, and I'm excited to be doing this again because this is such like a stress reliever for me. Believe it or not, it's a lot of work putting a podcast together, but like once you get into it, like you get into the groove of it. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But anyway, hope you all like the show. Again, if you have your own scary stories or your own UFO sightings now that you want me to share on the show, you can do so by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and leave your story in the review. And if you don't have Apple Podcasts or you just want to send an email, you can send that email to sustopodcast@gmail.com. Make sure to check out the Instagram for pictures of OT No Drug. I'm going to put a picture of him that I found on the Instagram and pictures that I can find of the ODF compound and their website. So it's really interesting to look at. So make sure that you go check that out and follow the Instagram for that and all updates on the show. And again, miss you all. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit me up on Instagram or my email for anything, and keep your eyes on the stars. Bye. This is a Net Thought podcast.